Hello everyone, this is Arms Time, and today we're going to be looking at this Marlin 8822. If you don't have one of these, they're kind of rare. It's an old gun. This is going to be a full disassembly video on how to, what we would modernly call a field strip, but due to the fact that this includes a screwdriver, not exactly going to work. So, let me pull this in a little bit, as we're going to want to get kind of closer. For starters, in the buttstock right here is what is basically a magazine sans feed lips that holds the internal rounds. You're going to want to check this. It's clear. Let's make sure it's in the fire position, just to make sure it's clear before we fully start to disassemble. To begin disassembly, simply remove this screw right here at the bottom. And now I am going to, make sure to push down on this because this receiver will like to try and pull up. Now this screw does come out sometimes if your hole is out. This trigger guard can be removed, but I'll show you why that's not necessary right now. Basically, it's going to pull up and forward, and that's going to remove the action from the interior of the gun. The only thing that this should be housed now is this trigger down here, which just pushes that bar up, that one right there. And that's actually going to actuate, and I'll show you how that works in just a second. This is your internal magazine tube. Let's set this aside now. Now the only other tool other than a screwdriver that you're going to need for this is potentially a large punch if yours is in bad condition. Now I'll show you when it's in the prime position. When you pull it back, this is actually your triggering surface. So when you press right here, the gun is going to fire. Now, if your gun is in bad condition, this will not work quite well, but it's supposed to push down a little bit on this end cap right here. Press in these two buttons. There's one on each side. And this entire assembly will come out. So this is what it looks like on the inside. This is what's actually holding it in, is those two buttons. So if you press down on them, then it comes flat and it'll come out of the receiver. Let me show you that one more time, because assumedly many of you are going to have guns that are in suboptimal condition, as was when I received this one. That's how you're going to put it back in. So just right on these two sides, see that one's protruding a little bit. Right on these two sides, push down, push this in a little bit, and it will come out. Now, if you're trying to push down on these and they're not moving, you can see on the inside of this block here, I'm trying to find out exactly where the camera's at. On the inside of this block here, each one of these, now let me move my light here so you can see inside a bit. Those two come in and out, and they're going to be pressed on by this piece right here, and that's what presses them out. So this right here, this little lever right at the bottom here, is actually what is your engagement. So when this gets pushed back into here, this piece will hold like that, and then this spring assembly has another spring assembly in it. This is your striker assembly. So if you push this through, now your striker is held captive and will be released by the press of that spring. Some people say that it's better to charge the weapon first to put this spring back in so you're not fighting it as well. That's not my personal opinion. I just like to take it all together. I'm going to put this up here. If it is giving you a lot of trouble, get a hammer and a large punch like this that basically fits that hole, and then basically just push it out. Now, while you're doing this, you're going to want a silicone mat. This is not sponsored by Gripty, but I do recommend them. These are light, so that you can keep all of your parts nice and neat and orderly. Next, what we're going to do is take this charging handle right here, pull up on it and forward, and this is just going to slide out. And finally, for this basic one, you're just going to take kind of your finger right there and push the whole bolt out. Now with our bolt, we've got this little extractor clipped onto the side here. The firing pin is internal to the bolt, and that, let's get it so, trying to get a good spot so you can see it there. Right down at the bottom, that little gleam, that's where the striker is going to hit. That's the back of your firing pin. Set this aside, and now this is all that you should have to do for cleaning. Things that you're going to want to make sure you clean, of course, the barrel. Take a large cylindrical brush, sort of like this one right here, and clean out the inside of the receiver. Mine has been recently cleaned, which is why it comes apart so easily. Yours is probably not going to come apart super easily, especially if it has not been well taken care of over time. Other than that, the only other things that you can do here, so this safety will come out if you remove. There is a little cotter pin in there. I recommend putting it to this position where the safety is inside of the hole, as that will prevent it from pushing back on this surface. Now, when you're reassembling it, you're going to push this and get it out of there. It does have a rear stop that it will stop on. It does not have any hole underneath the front selector. So if you would like, take a small drill bit and add one there, or that might just be my model. Yours may have it. As I said, this is a very low serial production run. Inside of here, let's get that nice up and close. You can see this pin that I'm pointing out with the screwdriver, touching that right now. You can remove that. This will come out. This little, basically an extended washer will come out. And then this center piece right here is actually what your safety is the center bar. This, as I said, is your triggering. When you take and you put the safety, sorry about this, it's kind of hard to move it, to this specific position, it prevents this bar from being triggered effectively. As I said, it's not the top most high quality of design. That is going to stop that bar from triggering this plate right here. Now, other things, this square cutout is where your magazine is going to go in. This pin right here is, and I'm sorry I can't show this to you, on the inside of the receiver. It holds in a spring for your bolt. And then up here on the front, This semi-flexible piece is what's going to help your internal magazine mesh with this top action. This barrel is pressed and pinned into place. You can see the pin right here. This sight, if you pull this up and push that sight piece forward, this can come out, allowing you to have just the flat sight bridge, though it is not calibrated to shoot at that. So it is best, unless you are cleaning this specific piece, to just leave that sitting on the inside there. On the inside here, you can see just your engagement surfaces that help the bolt to go into the right place and to get proper lockup. Though it does not have any true locking, as it is a simple blowback weapon. Now to put this back together, what we're going to do is grab our bolt, and you are going to face it this way down so that the extractor is to the right of the weapon, and this tube, that's where your charging handle is going to be. Let me move this out of shot really quick. And I'm just going to drop that in. I'll show you what this is going to look like now. Once it's in this position, you can just barely, you're going to have to move it back. It is not the easiest thing to put this back in correctly, because you have to get it at just the right angle. Gotta twist this up. Gonna have to put this in. There's not really a more effective way to do this. There we go. So this is how you'll know it's in the right spot. This is how it should look properly when reassembling it. And what I prefer to do next is to take these two springs, slide this one inside here. You want the pointed bit to be back and this big flat to be up front. It'll comfortably sit in that bottom piece right there. Press both of these into what is kind of your rear trunnion. And then you're gonna try and find the hole. Just kind of get that spring into the correct hole. Gonna have to get this back up out of play. It's easiest to just leave it on in the fire setting. Press those two pieces back in. Slide it forward until you get full connection. These two surfaces should be smooth. Push the bolt forward a little bit. Make sure these two are in the right spot. Now is the time when you can take this, because it's now got pressure on it. You're going to slightly press it in at an angle like that, and it'll fit in. And then the easiest way to get this fully into place is to simply charge the weapon. Discharge it by pressing this little piece right here. And now for reassembly, let me back this video out just a bit. We're going to take the stop area. We are going to line it up, taking this top piece, fitting it down in here and just slotting it into place, and it'll slide back. Then getting it fully just right into place. It's not going to want to go pretty. That's just part of this gun. There you go. This back part's going to come up just a little bit as that magazine's putting torque pressure onto it from the bottom. Now finally, we're going to take the screw, get it in to the right spot. Once you can pull a little bit back on it, you know it's catching threads. Screw it in with this. Sorry for the bit of shaky camera I've got going on right now. I've got it mounted to this table. I do not have a very solid table. So I do apologize for that. I also apologize for the more poor mic quality. I have to film this on my phone. And I'm not going to move my whole boom setup into here. So here it is, your Marlin 8822 fully reassembled Sans magazine. It's very long for a 22. I'm going to pull this out to give you one nice full shot of the gun. And yeah, so if you came across this in a yard sale or some kind of small auction place, now you know how to fully disassemble it.